All right. So I just hit record. Thank you guys for hopping on here tonight. We are excited to tell you about Leaders Retreat and a little bit of what we learned. I have Audrey and Brianna here with us, and they're going to tell us a little bit of some things that they gathered while we were there at Leaders Retreat. So if you are fairly new or new to the business part, Plexus offers several corporate events throughout the year. One of them is Super Saturday that happens at the beginning of January. Another one is Convention that happens in the middle of the summer. And then the third one is Leaders Retreat. Leaders Retreat is an earned trip that you have to get points through a contest for. And if you get enough points to qualify, then you go on a trip to wherever they choose that year. This year it was in Orlando, Florida at the Gaylord Palms Resort, which was really pretty, by the way. They had live alligators in like a little water pond inside the atrium. They had baby alligators in little tanks. I mean, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. So anyway, it was sidetracked. This year it was at the Gaylord Palms. So how that works is the Plexus puts you up in a hotel, free 3-night stay. This year there were 2,500 people that qualified for Leaders Retreat, which was, I think they were anticipating 800 to qualify. So it was almost triple what they were anticipating. Actually, it was more than triple of what they were anticipating. So obviously the Gaylord doesn't hold 2,500 people and their guests. So they put the ambassadors up kind of as you qualified, you went on a wait list, and as you qualified, you got put up in other hotels, which you guys, all of the hotels in and around the Gaylord are resort style hotels. They have the nice water parks and the fancy hotel rooms and the eateries and all of that stuff. So there really wasn't a bad place to stay.
Even the Holiday Inn had an outdoor water park. It was spectacular.
Yeah. I messed up our reservation on our Airbnb, so we actually stayed one night at that Holiday Inn, and it was nice. They had like shows, like 3D shows. It was bizarre. I'm like, this is a Holiday Inn, right? Like, it kept having, like, making sure, like, I'm not paying $400 to stay here, right? And it was great. Lots of things to do, and of course, close to the beach. I think it was less than an hour drive to the beach, so it was really, really great. And of course, they brought in John Maxwell. They had lots of really crazy fun events for us to go to, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about. I'm not going to do a lot of real in-depth John Maxwell retraining for this call. This is more of a Leaders Retreat recap call. I did find almost an identical training that John Maxwell did at Leaders Retreat on YouTube. So I will link that in the team page. So you guys, I mean, like, if you hear nothing else that I'm saying tonight, watch the John Maxwell link. Okay, now that you've heard that, you can, like, take a nap or whatever. No, not really. So without further ado, Audrey is going to tell us a little bit about her experience. She got to experience some new things this year at Leaders Retreat. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her tell you what she got to do.
So, they have great prize packages that they set up for Leaders Retreat. And they also do it for Convention. So it's credits like Aaron was talking about, or Cassie was Cassie, Aaron. All day long when I've been practicing, I keep calling Aaron Cassie and Cassie Aaron. So know that one of the sisters said it or did it. But anyway, so the prize package that they put together for Leaders Retreat this year, I think it was 775 credits would earn you a qualification to go. And then as you earn more credits, you earn more prizes. So the next on the list was like $150 of fun money. Then there was a private reception. There was the $750 of happy cash. And they give you these amazing cardboard checks.
I love that.
And the marketing on this is fantastic. Like, everybody's taking a picture with their check and posting it all over social media. And I realized when I was going through my pictures tonight that I don't have a picture of me and my check. So but the other great thing is that you're walking through the airport with your big check, and PSA is asking questions. Other people are asking questions. And it gives you an opportunity to kind of share the business and make new contacts with people. So those marketing guys know what they're doing whenever they're sending you home with a giant check. It's spectacular. Also, you could earn a Disney or a Universal Studios adventure, and I earned that level, and I chose Disney as my excursion. They gave you 4 tickets to use, so you could bring your family or whoever. And then the top prize was the $3,000 shopping spree at Bloomingdale's. Erin earned the $3,000 shopping spree, and she asked me to be her guest, and I was like, yeah. Totally, I'll do it. So she wanted me to share some of the experiences of those 2 events, and I was thinking today, how better to share the experience than through pictures. So I snapped some pictures, and I kind of put together a little slideshow. And you're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get a slideshow. But I'm gonna make it real short. So I'm gonna do my screen share. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see. We'll get there in a second. Okay, one more second. All right, do you see it okay?
Yes.
Okay, so another fantastic marketing ploy that our marketing department put together was Mickey ears with our Plexus logo on it. So there's like 750 people walking around with these Mickey ears on with the Plexus logo. So, I don't know. Should I talk about it with my Mickey ears on?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Isn't that cute, the Plexus thing? So anyway, I chose to go to Epcot Center, and I brought a couple of girls with me from my Chicago team, and I like to think of these girls as like true foodies. I mean, these girls love to eat. They like to try new things, and Epcot was having a food and wine festival, and so they had not only the regular restaurants that they normally have from all different parts of the world, but they had these kiosks or food trucks, or I don't even know how to explain it, but you could go and try different things, and they would pair it with wines or beers and stuff. So we stopped at a lot of places, and we made the whole loop. But you'll notice that Lena and Ingrid are drinking Miller Lite. And so I had to give them some hell about that because they ruined my picture. I'm like, come on, guys. They said, listen, we're cleansing our palate for the next food truck. So I'm not a foodie. So I bought it. Okay, that's how you cleanse your palate. But anyway, here was one of our stops, and we hit it hard, like almost 2 steps in. We find a food truck, and we are going in. So there was our first little spot there. They had a food truck from New Zealand. And I don't know if you guys can see, the very first item on the menu is steamed green lip mussels. Does that blow your mind? I don't know anything about New Zealand, but I do know one thing. They have green lip mussels, and it's in our Ease product to help with inflammation and pain. I was like, my mind was just blown. So I had to take a picture. But anyway, in the upper right-hand corner, that's a picture of the green lip mussels. Ingrid got that, and she paired it with the Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc, and she said it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. After we made the loop, we hopped over to Magic Kingdom because we wanted to see the Halloween parade, and we also wanted to ride Space Mountain. But before we got like 5 steps in, and we're like, you know what? We need to take a pink drink break. This is our second pink drink of the day, gave us some energy to kind of barrel through the rest of the day. We ran into Erin and her family, so we all got to watch the Halloween parade together and take pictures in front of Cinderella's castle. That was my first Disney experience ever. I'm 45 years old, and it's the first time I've been to Disney. Now, you asked Cassie, our favorite sister, the favorite one, how old she was the first time she went to Disney. It wasn't 45. I'm not bitter in any way, shape, or form, but it wasn't 45 the first time she went. Okay. So anyway, no, it was such a fun day to just kind of hang out and love on the girls and sort of just talk through some things and coach through some things and eat and drink and be.
Oh, take a shot.
Gink. Gink. Take another one.
It's so
motivated. Oh, oopsie. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. I'm so inspired and motivated just by like experiencing it. I mean, I'm gonna work hard to get there next year. But right whenever the Bloomingdale's thing was the day before the leaders retreat began. So we had to fly in on a Tuesday night. And then the shopping thing was on Wednesday. So here we are Tuesday night, and they have this whole area for us to take pictures. They had mimosas for us. Aaron got to pick out some Kendra Scott earrings. There was just lots of little things that they did to really make it nice for those earners. And I tell you what, every single one of those earners, I think there were 89 shopping spree earners total. And they had to earn 4,000 credits in order to get that shopping spree. So, and that's in a 3-month period. And I tell you what, I can't speak for the other people, but I can speak for Erin. She worked her tail off all summer long. She put the pedal to the metal all month long, the whole summer. She was doing VIP events. She was doing the power hours. She was in touch with her level ones on a regular basis. She was really pushing, and they got some momentum, and she was able to earn the credits. So I'm really, really proud of her. And just know that the ones that earned that really do. They're working their business every single day, and I can see why they're motivated to want to win this. It was pretty exciting. So the next morning we had to jump on the shuttle at 7 a.m. and we get to the mall before it even opens. They're handing us drinks the minute we walk in the mall, and as soon as we reach the atrium, they've got these beautiful tables set up for breakfast and a runway so that we can watch what do you call it? The models.
A fashion show.
A fashion show. They hired a local fashion blogger, and her name's Melanie Pace, and she put together like 18 looks for us. She's got a really cute, edgy style, pops of color. She's got a great personality, and I'm now following her on Instagram. So if any of you guys are like to follow fashion bloggers on Instagram, she would be a fun one to follow. Here are the models serving it to us, giving us their best pose. They were all so beautiful and did an incredible job. So after that, the doors opened to Bloomingdale's and the shopping began. And I am not kidding you if everybody didn't go straight to the shoe section. But before we get to that, this one picture here, I'm putting this on my dream board. This is not all of the earners. This is the earners under Celeste and Jenny's team and their guests. Can you believe that? So that is something that I'm putting on my dream board, because I one day want to have a panoramic photograph of the number of people on my team that have earned the Bloomingdale shopping spree. It just takes my breath away. So anyway, doors open. Everybody head straight to the shoe section, and it was mayhem. It wasn't like pulling hair and, jumping over displays and biting and scratching. It wasn't anything like that. It was giggling, laughing, taking selfies, everybody just having the best time. Everybody was so patient, so kind, respectful of the people that work there. They were respectful of the shoe department. It wasn't like a Black Friday situation where there's just crap everywhere. They were very, very cool, and I was really proud of the way that they handled themselves in that section. Here's Erin doing some damage in the shoe department. I think she ended up with 4 or 5 pair before it was all said and done. I really felt like my job was to make sure she spent a large portion of that $3,000 on herself. We did sort of drift over into the little people section a couple of times, and I just kind of would steer her back to the big people section. So I thought that was my job, was to take pictures and make sure she spent her money on her. On the 3rd floor, they had a little VIP section where you could sit down, rest your feet, have a cup of coffee, a cupcake, eat some lunch, rest a little bit. The shopping experience was from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and we were there the entire time. I think it took almost every single one of them the full time to spend all of their money. The other thing that I thought was really cool is they had Bloomingdale's would ship all of their stuff to their home address, so they didn't have to schlep it back to the hotel and then schlep it back to through the airport and all that stuff. So they only took the things that they wanted to wear for the Leaders Retreat events. I did a little damage myself, sponsored by Audrey's Pocketbook. But no, we had a good time. But that was one of my favorite pictures there. After the event, we went back to the hotel, got ready, and they had a private reception for the earners and their guests. And the idea was that you wear your favorite thing that you purchased that day at Bloomingdale's. And so Erin and Sally both had on new pairs of shoes for the event. I took some candid shots of different people that we hung out with. You probably recognize some of the faces. It was really cool to just be surrounded by such dynamic people, such strong business builders, people who have a really healthy mindset that just speak words of life over their business, over their friends, over their team. Just so inspiring to be around these folks. Here's us having a little bit of fun with the plexus decor. I really wanted to take one of those home, but number one, how do you smuggle a glowing plexus ball out of the event? And number two, how do you put it in a suitcase? So I had to leave it behind. But the last picture I want to show you, I feel like may require some explanation. As a big sister, I take it very serious, the job of embarrassing my little sisters when I can. This is not a picture you're going to see on Erin's Facebook profile. But if I'm going to be in a Zoom call, I'm using it. I'm using the picture. She's going to kill me, but just be sure that you tell her.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But anyway, it was so much fun. Such a great experience. It's really inspired me to really work hard and earn it for myself next year. I would much rather spend Plexus's money than my own. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going for it. And I want you guys, I want to take that big picture next year. All of my team, I want you guys to be there experiencing it with me. So let's go for it. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to shift gears and talk for a minute about some of the things that Alec discussed Thursday morning in our leadership training. He had one slide, 10 points, and just really quickly went through. Most of these are self-explanatory, but I'm going to talk through some of these. The first thing he said is don't make exceptions to your standards. He shared a story about when he and Tarl first started the company. that they decided that they were not going to recruit anybody with large sums of money to come and sell Plexus or market their products. And I don't know if you know this, but in the business of network marketing, when a new company starts, they will go and poach big business builders from their competitors and write them large checks to come and jump ship and come and sell their products. Tarl and Alec from the very beginning decided they're not doing that. And even still today, what are we, 7, 8, 9 years in, they still have people approaching them, contacting them, wanting to be written a big check to come and sell Plexus products. And he said that his response is the same every single time. You are welcome to join us. All you got to do is pay me $34.95. So they don't make exceptions for their standards, and he's telling us to do the same thing with our own business. Number 2, smile. He encouraged us to smile at 5 strangers every single day. He said, you pay attention to how it makes you feel. You just never know what a smile is going to do for somebody else. It could make their day. So he encouraged us to do that. So smile to 5 strangers every day this week. Number 3 is be disciplined. It's interesting how, we watch Facebook and we get so discouraged by the Facebook highlight reel, all the great things that are happening with, our Sideline Sisters. They're promoting, they're in momentum. But the thing that the Facebook reel, that highlight reel, does not show is that self-discipline that person has exercised over the past year or the past 2 years or the past 3 years, that daily self-discipline to get them where they are to where you're seeing them on that Facebook highlight reel. So he's saying to us, be disciplined and be disciplined every single day. Number 4 is live the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He said, never lie, cheat, or steal, and especially don't steal other people's customers. Number 5, don't complain. One of the things that John Maxwell said in his session was, losers complain, winners create morale. And I tell you, John Maxwell, that was a kick in the teeth. Some of the stuff that he was saying was a real kick in the teeth, but losers complain, winners create morale. The only person that follows a leader that complains is a bunch of complainers. Mm-hmm. So if you find yourself with a team full of complainers, if you find yourself with a circle of friends that are a bunch of complainers, it's time to take a step back and do some self-reflection, because what you put out there is what you...
Oh, she's just talking away and we can't hear any of it. Oh, you're back.
So what was I saying?
What you put out there is what
you attract, right?
You attract.
And it's never too late to change your behavior. And so he encouraged us to see if you can go a whole day without complaining. And pay attention to how your day goes, how that changes your mindset, what kind of things become attracted to you because you choose to see the silver lining instead of jumping on that complaining boat. Number 6 is keep learning. This network marketing business is the business of self-development with a paycheck. And the size of the paycheck depends on how well you put what you learn into practice. If we stop learning, we stop growing. If we stop growing, we get discouraged. When we get discouraged, then we give up. There's nothing good that can come from not continuing our learning. So we have to take the personal responsibility in learning new stuff every day. If you expect to learn everything that you need to learn about this business on your Uplines team page, you're going to be waiting an awful long time. Everybody has to take their own personal responsibility and continue their own learning. Number 7, he says to look up. He says be present and be engaged in where you are right now. Put your phone down. He says give the human being in front of you the respect and the attention that they deserve. This is a belly-to-belly business, and we have to start taking that seriously. Number 8 is set goals and write them down. And you've heard the saying, plan your work, work your plan. If your plan doesn't work, then make adjustments along the way, but don't give up. Number 9, be humble. Humility is a very attractive leadership quality. And when you think about the kind of leader that you would want to follow, is it somebody who displays wisdom and humility? And on the flip side of that coin, are you a leader that shows wisdom and humility? And then finally, the last one, serve others. One of the things Alec always says is if you're blessed, then be a blessing. And one of the things that we can do to bless others is to serve them, help them work through issues, help give them support, help them kind of get over the hump of whatever it is that's stalling them out, but be there to support them. So he feels very strongly about serving others. So those are the 10 things that Alex shared to be happy, centered, and successful. So I'm going to take off the screen share, and I'm going to pass it back over to Cassie.
Thanks, Audrey. I hadn't seen a lot of those pictures, so that was really fun to see what the Disney experience was like and what the Bloomingdale's experience was like. I really like that, and of course, I really enjoyed Alex's little chat. The part about serving others kind of got my wheels turning a little bit, and I am going to see if I can get some time slots for our team to ring the Salvation Army bell around Christmas time this year. So you guys be looking for that. Obviously, mostly local people, but I'm opening it up, letting people go and ring the bell wherever they want. But I thought it would be fun to take pictures and ring the bell and wear something pink, wear some Plexus swag, and just be silly and have fun together, because we work so hard. And sometimes I think we get really bogged down in the this, that, and the other, and I think it would be fun to do something fun like that. Also, I'm going to look into maybe volunteering a Saturday morning or something at the food bank right around Christmas time, and see if maybe we can pack some boxes up as a team, just for something fun, some way to give back, just to have some fun with each other and get to spend some time together, and also do something good for some people. So next, I'm going to have Brianna talk. You guys know that Brianna was a first-time earner for Leaders Retreat this year. And I'm going to tell you this because she won't tell you. She is not one to brag on herself much, so I'm going to do a little bragging. You all know that it took 775 credits to earn Leaders Retreat this year. Brianna, by her own devices, her own new customers, her own new ambassadors, and her PV, earned herself 700 of those credits. So she did 90% of her qualifying on her own. So that was a lot of planting seeds, a lot of following up, a lot of doing those things that you can get bogged down doing every day. Brianna did them every day, and she was able to earn 700 of the credits that she needed to qualify for Leaders Retreat all on her own. So I knew she wasn't going to tell you that part, so I wanted to tell you that part, just because I want you guys to know that I know sometimes it thinks, well, I can't do this by myself, but really you can. You can do it by yourself. Is it fun? No. Is it easy? No. But you can do it. You can do it by yourself. So Brianna's going to tell you a little bit about her experience as a first-timer to Leaders Retreat.
Hey, everybody. My light I had on myself, just the battery died, so now I'm kind of in the dark, but oh well. Yeah, to go off of what Cassie is saying, I just want to talk to the people that maybe have just joined or are silvers, or if anybody like me is gold, that I don't want you to think that just because you just started or you're not seeing a lot of momentum yet, that you can't be there, because you can. I mean, it's very attainable to go, even if you're not seeing that momentum, to go on your own with PV or anything like that. So set your mind to it and you can do it, I promise. I would say something that's different than how Leaders Retreat was different than convention was it just seemed a lot more laid back. You weren't rushing around as much to get to things. And the other thing is I felt like we were able to be like around the jewels a lot more. It didn't feel as separated. So you were able to, mingle with the jewels a little more than kind of how it is at convention. I have become friends with Sapphire, Rachel Rogers, and I was able to have a conversation with her. She just really poured into me after that one meeting, and that meant a lot to me. To be able to have that opportunity to speak to somebody that has been so successful. So that was a big thing that stuck out to me, was that just being a little bit more laid back and feeling like we could intermingle with a lot more people. But the meetings themselves were great. And then, we had so many people qualify, and they were really scrambling at the last minute, like figuring out like, what are we going to do for these people, all these people that qualified, because they couldn't have everybody at the Gaylord. And I qualified the very last day you could qualify. So I was probably like way down on that waiting list. But they did a great job, compensating all of us. Like, so basically in my example, I didn't get to stay at one of the hotels that Plexus had originally, designated. So, but they basically just gave me cash. And so then I could stay wherever I wanted. I ended up saving money doing that. And then we used some of that extra money to pay for food or anything else we did. So I just feel like they did a really good job of taking care of us, even though the situation wasn't what, everybody had hoped for. And I thought that was really great. And, yes, I didn't get to stay at the Gaylord, but so what? I was there and I got to go to the meetings. I still got to mingle with people. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, when you think about why you're there, that's what's most important. And it's easy, I guess, to lose sight of that, but I think it's something that's really important to note as well. And I just wanted to talk a little bit just about the whole, the meetings itself. Like, we really want to be there because you getting to be there on your own, like, you have that motivation, you're around that environment. And I'm just talking events in general, not just Leaders Retreat, but, going into just convention or Super Saturday or any of that thing. Like, we cannot duplicate what we hear, what we see, being in that atmosphere. So I just encourage everybody to, work really hard to make it to every single event that we get to go to, we can go to. And yes, Leaders Retreat is hard to earn, but I mean, guys, just set a goal and work toward it. And you can do it, I promise. So I had a lot of fun. Of course, I took my family this year, so I got to experience some new things with my kids, and that was also incredible. So anyway, that's all.
Well, thank you, Brianna. I really appreciate you giving your side of things, being a first-time qualifier. That's really exciting, and I've been praying to have some qualifiers on my team for the last 2 years since I first qualified. So I was really excited to have a team member there with me this year. And I know next year it's going to keep getting bigger. We're going to have to keep saving more seats and more seats and more seats and more seats. So thank you for giving that little tidbit. Another thing that I wanted to tell you guys that Alex said on his list of 10 things, and I think one of them, it was along the lines of the not complaining. Don't complain about free stuff. And I will tell you that there's a reason he said that, because there was a lot of people complaining about their free trip to Florida. And it's true. I mean, you get a free t-shirt, you're like, it's a large. Well, so what? It's free. You didn't even pay for it. Like, stop complaining. You know what I mean? Like, so really think about the way you think about stuff when, especially when somebody's trying to give you something, any type of gift, anything. Don't complain about it. It's free. If you don't like it, put it in a drawer. I don't care what you do with it, but don't complain about it. So the first night, so after the Bloomingdale's shopping spree, the first night was the Havana Nights welcome reception. Havana Nights, palm tree leaves, off the shoulder dresses, and it was very tropical. They had obviously lots of food, bars that you could order drinks from. It was great. They had lots of props you could take pictures with, stand in front of this nice old car that was there. It was really, really neat. So that was night one. We actually, Aaron and Audrey had a little get together for our team at one of the restaurants there in the Gaylord, right before the Havana Nights welcome reception. So we did that. We went to the welcome reception, and then the next morning was when we heard Alec tell us his top 10 tips, and then also we heard John Maxwell. And I'm going to give you about the first 2 minutes of my notes from John Maxwell, and I'm going to give you a little tip. I've been to a lot of Plexus events, and I've done a lot of like scrambling to writing notes, and then I get home and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, what was I thinking right there? Because my hand cannot keep up with how fast that they're talking. However, Thunder Thumbs on my phone can keep up with the notes, or I at least can like make sentences, and if I spelled it wrong, autocorrect will correct it pretty close. So I've learned to take notes on the notes on my phone because I can keep up. It's kind of like typing, except I'm slower at typing than I am at texting. So I text my notes, and then I go back through them. So I'm going to give you about the first, it's not really, it's about, he talked for an hour. This is about the first 15 minutes of what he said. And then I'll post the link for pretty much the rest of the lecture that he gave, which was amazing. Like every time he would say a sentence, everybody was like, oh. And then he'd talk a little bit more, and he'd say something else, everybody's like, oh. I think you could hear the crowd. It was like a hum. They're like, oh, that's good. There was a lady behind me, and I'm just gonna, this is not racial at all, you guys. Brianna's laughing. There was a lady sitting behind us who was clearly African American, clearly. And she clearly goes to an African American church, because he would say something and she would go, yes, Lord. And like, hand up, yes, Lord. Like every third sentence. And I don't know how Brianna and I have kept a straight face. It was probably because we did never make eye contact with each other. But it was the whole thing. I felt like I was in church. But anyway, I'm going to go through and tell you a little bit about what he said. And these two things actually come from the book, The 21 Laws of Leadership. I don't know where mine's at. But I have the book, and we've read it before, but I would like to go back and read it again now that I've heard him speak, because he made a lot of points that I know I missed in the book. But he talked about two of those laws of leadership. The first one is called the law of the lid. And what that means is a person's business will never be higher than the leadership of the leader, the leadership lid. So my lid, say my lid's a 5, my team will never be above a 4 until I raise my leadership lid. When I raise my leadership lid to a 6, then my team will be at a 5. Your team is never going to do more than what you do. That's what that means. Your team is never going to grow more than you grow. They're never going to expand more than you expand. You are the lid. Your team is always underneath you. It's important to develop your leadership skills to raise your leadership lid. He just revised a book called Developing the Leader Within You. He wrote it in the 80s. He just revised it, and they told him, okay, John, to do an official book revision, you have to revise 15% of the book. He revised 89% of his book that he wrote 20 years ago, because that's how much leadership has changed. a book that he wrote, the laws that he has been teaching to people about leadership, he revised 89% of them because that's how much leadership has changed and evolved since he originally wrote the book. So write that down. Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. That's the new revised version. Get it and read it. Mm-hmm. And sleep with it under your pillow so it soaks in like metamorphosis. Mm-hmm. If you're not changing what you did in the past, then that means you're not growing. If you're still doing the same thing you were doing at this time last year, but you've made zero progress, you're not growing. You need to change something that you're doing to get back on track, to get moving again. You can raise your lid by growing as a leader. The way you grow your business is to grow your leadership. How many of you signed up for this gig knowing that you were going to need to grow your leadership? It's a big deal, you guys. It makes a huge difference. And the way you grow your leadership is to grow leaders. You grow your leaders by working with them, by communicating with them, by studying with them, by reading with them, by chatting with them, by doing scary things with them. But you have to do it. If you're not doing it, you can't expect them to do it. So raise your lid. Work really hard to raise that leadership lid because your team is always going to be one step underneath you.
One of the things that I thought was interesting too is that you will never attract a higher caliber of leader than what you are. And I thought that was interesting too, whenever we think about who are we attracting to us to grow our business further. So we if we want a high caliber leader, we've got to be that ourselves for them to want to be on our team. Right.
Yeah, that's totally true. And then the second law that he talked about was the law of process. And the law of process is, what is the process that leaders go through? What do leaders do to grow their lid? Leaders develop daily, not in a day. I'm going to say that again. Leaders develop daily, not in a day. It's an ongoing growth process. And people always overestimate the event and they underestimate the process. So they overestimate what it's going to take, but they underestimate what the steps are underneath that. Does that make sense? Like going emerald. Oh my gosh, going emerald is 1,500 points. But you underestimate the process of getting there. Silver, gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby. You underestimate all of that. The growing that happens in that. Don't underestimate that. There's a reason that you go through that to get to emerald. An emerald team is a very large team. Lots of things that go on in an emerald team. You have to increase your leadership to be ready for that type of a team. That's what all of these steps down here are. Don't underestimate those. It's not quick and it's not easy. It's an ongoing process. He has a new book that he's writing right now called Leader Shifts. Not poop emojis and not Leader Shifts. That's his newest book. Be looking for that. So he talks about how you can't microwave your leadership. You can't be a Pop-Tart leader. It's not that quick. You don't just pop it in the microwave, hit 45 seconds, and boom, you're a leader. You want to be a crock pot leader. You want to marinate. You want to sit there and learn and gain the flavor and gain the characteristics. You want to be a crock pot leader. Don't be a Pop-Tart, be a roast. Those were my main two things about those two laws of leadership that I talked about. Then he went into how you get up the leadership ladder. That is what I'm going to save for the YouTube video because I think that's really important to see the visual, see what he's doing, hear his voice say it. It makes a big difference. He talked about creating momentum because we know momentum is the leader's best friend. People are attracted to your team when you're in momentum. Hey, Lauren's doing great this month. Look how her team is growing. I want to be part of that. I want to do what she's doing. It's attractive to see a team in momentum, but you have to create the momentum. It doesn't just fall in your lap. You don't just turn around and boom, there's your momentum. You have to create it. And how do you create it? You create it by doing the daily activities every single day, the IPA, the growing, the learning, the self-development, all those things that you need to do to get to that next leadership level.
Cass, I was going to show really fast so everybody could see. I haven't read it yet, but I do have the book, and it's called The 5 Levels of Leadership, is what it's called. So
that's the book that he based this particular talk off of. So definitely, you guys, you're never going to buy all of John Maxwell's books. There's a bazillion of them, but the ones that we mentioned here are kind of the highlighted ones. Make sure you get those and read through them at some point in the next few months. He talked about 80% of the issues within your team can be solved by momentum. You think that's probably true? So-and-so's not doing anything. This person won't get started. This person's just sitting there doing nothing. What if you did something to create the momentum, to get the ball rolling again? Would so-and-so be inspired to maybe get the ball rolling again there? Would so-and-so maybe decide, oh, maybe that business does have something to it and maybe want to get started? Be the person that creates the momentum, and 80% of the issues within your team will go away. Without momentum, a 1-inch problem becomes a problem. He told this analogy about a train. And with a train, a steam engine going at full speed ahead, you can put a 4-foot concrete block, 4-foot thick concrete block across the track, and that steam engine will plow right through it and completely disintegrate it. But that's because it has momentum. If you have that same steam engine sitting at a complete dead stop and you put a 1-inch block on the track, that steam engine can't move because it has no momentum behind it. So don't let that 1-inch problem be the problem that keeps you still. Start the momentum, create the momentum, get that full steam ahead momentum going, and those big problems will be no big deal because you have the momentum going already, okay? When you become a producer, you attract people. When you're doing well, people are attracted to what you're doing. And I'm getting a little bit too far into the 5 levels of leadership, so I'm going to stop there and let you guys watch the training that I'm going to post later. And I'm going to move on. The next day at Leaders Retreat, this would have been, what day was it? Saturday. We got up super duper early and we walked a 5K for breast cancer awareness. I did snag some extra t-shirts that I'm going to be giving away in the next few months. So be watching for prizes, and you can get you a pink Check It America t-shirt, which I wear all the time, by the way. And then Miss Cindy Latham, our Chief Marketing Officer, who just won I'm just going to say CMO, a CMO award, just right before Leaders Retreat. She was awarded this award for I don't know what exactly the award is, but it's a big deal. Because she's pretty much changed the face of Plexus since she's been with us this past year. Changed our branding. We've reformulated lots of products, which brought her to the announcement of our new X Factor Kids. And if you've been hiding under a rock, you might not know about our X Factor Kids reformulation. So let me enlighten you. They took our kids X Factor Chewables, I think is what it was called before, and they completely reformulated it. It now has a flavor of tropical punch. It is sweetened with xylitol and erythritol, and I know there was some question about whether that was a good thing or not. Both of those are derived from plants. It says right here, xylitol and erythritol can be found in plants, fruits, vegetables, and fermented foods. So it's a sugar alcohol. That's what gives this vitamin its sweet factor. You may have heard this already, but and the average gummy vitamin that kids get has 1.5 teaspoons of sugar per serving. That added up over a year is an extra 4.5 pounds of sugar that a child is ingesting from something that should keep them healthy. Do you guys know that cancer feeds off of sugar? If you don't follow Dawn Andrews, she's an Emerald Ambassador. She is fighting her 2nd round of breast cancer. First round, she took traditional medicine, chemotherapy, went into remission. About 6 or 8 months later, relapsed. And she decided to take a more holistic route with her treatment the 2nd time. Obviously prayed about it, thought about it a lot. and decided that the holistic route was the way that she wanted to go. And they do things like hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So they're oxygenating the good cells, trying to keep the good cells alive. A lot of paleo, zero sugar, lots of juicing, just trying to nourish the body the way that it needs to be nourished and not with junk. And they do cancer markers. They check the level of cancer cells and stem cells circulating in the blood, and that's kind of how they measure how their treatment is working. And when she started, which would have been December of 2016, she had her stem cells and cancer cells that were circulating were at a 34, which was that's pretty high. That's like, you got a lot of work to do kind of level. And just this past Friday, she had her blood drawn again. Her stem cells and circulating cancer cells are at a 0, which is like what you and I are at. So she's completely cancer-free at this point with 0 chemotherapy. And it's because of the way that she changed the way that she was treating her body, the way that she was feeding her body. So we don't want sugar, you guys. We've known it for a long time that sugar is the bad guy. It's not necessarily the fat. It's not necessarily, whatever, this, that, or the other. It's sugar. And that's not to say don't have any sugar ever, but really, really think about the impact of 4.5 pounds of sugar on a 2-year-old's body or a 4-year-old's body. It's no wonder that we have so many kids that are overweight and obese. So that was something that Cindy was very passionate about. She really wanted to make that very clear that we want to be above the bar. We don't want to be a Flintstone vitamin. We want to be better than that. So that's kind of where they went. They really focused on making it taste better, not pumping it full of sugar, and making sure there was the best nutrients in this chewable vitamin for our kids. So she kind of went through the ABCs. A is for amazing. It contains 13 essential nutrients: vitamin A, B6, B12, biotin, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin E, folate, vitamin K, niacin, pantothenic acid, thiamine, and riboflavin. And what is very special about these 13 essential nutrients is that they are in the most bioavailable form available, so that it's easy for their little bodies to break down and absorb those. Excellent for their livers. They also added 3 probiotics, and let me find the names before I get going. 3 probiotic strains for a total of 4 billion CFUs. These 3 probiotic strains make up a 4 billion CFU count in this chewable vitamin. The first one is Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Let's see. It demonstrated digestive and immune benefits for all people of all ages. Delivers a clinically demonstrated I already said that because it's written on here twice. Lactobacillus acidophilus, that's one that's pretty common. You'll hear that frequently in probiotics. And this one helps crowd out the bad microbes, produces compounds that overpower the bad microbes, and helps improve gut health and maintain a healthy microbiota. And then the third one that they put in there was Bifidobacterium lactis. And that one it helps improve digestion and enhances the immune system response. So we have, it gets rid of the bad stuff, it helps the good stuff, and it helps the immune system. So super excited about that, you guys. I've been pumping my kids with ProBio 5 with applesauce and yogurt for the last 2 years. I'm really excited that I can just say, here, chew this. It's going to make my evenings so much easier. So A is for amazing. I already went over how amazing all of the ingredients are. B is for bioavailability. You guys, it's fully methylated. So kids that have the MTHFR gene, I always think that says mother effer. I mean, every time I read it, I'm like, I feel like that's naughty.
Me too.
THFR gene. A lot of kids don't even know they have it, so they're not absorbing the nutrients appropriately, even though they think they're doing these good things by taking their vitamins or whatever. So this is fully methylated, has methylated folate, which is easily absorbed for them. means less digestive discomfort with the vitamins. Some kids don't tolerate vitamins well. This one they shouldn't have any problem with. And C is for clean. And let me tell you, this is clean. No artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. No common allergens, including fish, dairy, eggs, peanuts, shellfish, tree nuts, soy, or wheat. No carrageenan. Woo! No added preservatives, no GMOs, gluten-free, and 100% vegetarian. I mean, slap your mama silly. That is the cleanest vitamin you're going to find for a kid, for real. And D is for delicious. And you guys, I will be 100% honest with you. I didn't really love the old chewable vitamins. I thought they were kind of sour, and I'm like, sorry, girls, eat it and then take a drink of water because it's kind of gross. The new one tastes like a sweet tart, like a pink sweet tart straight out of the fresh package. It is so yummy. My girls were like, can I have another one? I'm like, I'm gonna have to hide that on the top shelf because they're gonna be eating the whole thing. So this vitamin can claim that it supports growth and development with vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, and all of the B vitamins. It supports brain function support, vitamin B6 and vitamin B12 and folate, immune support, vitamin C, and then the 3 probiotics, the 2 lactobacillus and the 1 bifidobacterium. Gut health support with the 3 probiotics, and then the clean label. All of that cleans up. You're not going to find a children's vitamin that can compare to that. You're just not. And then, of course, the Plexus promise that it has the 60-day money-back guarantee. So my challenge, if you have children, talk to your pediatrician. Ask your pediatrician why they would recommend a Flintstone vitamin over this vitamin. Challenge them to look deeper than what's on the shelf at Walgreens, because it can make a big difference. And who knows, maybe they'll let you put your cards in their office. Maybe they'll buy stock and keep a stock of it in their office. Why not try? You know what I mean? If we know we have the best, then we should act like we know we have the best and be very proud and very bold in sharing it. So after they announced X Factor, Tarl got up, gave us a good little speech, and then we were released to go get ready for the Halloween party. And I will tell you what, they turned that place into some Spookville in a very short time. They had the outdoor atrium was all decorated up. They had pirates. Of course, they had pirates. They had games to play. This was the first year I'd ever seen the games that you could play. They had games to play. They had food. They had pretzels, soft pretzels and cheese dip. They had some gourmet pizzas. They had like little taco thing. I don't really know. We didn't eat that, but it looked yummy. And then, of course, they had the bars outside. And then inside, they had a live band. They were playing awesome music. I'm pretty sure they danced to Thriller at some point. And it was, it's decorated to a T. You guys have seen the pictures. You know how awesome it was. So it was a great time, you guys. We really enjoyed our time there. And I really want you guys there next year. I really do. These events are so much more fun when there's a group of us there together to enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this recap. I'm going to post that John Maxwell link on the team page. And with that, I'm going to let you go. So thanks for hopping on here tonight, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.